Hey, it's Webs here, and it's time to barrage our opponent with minions with Token Fel Demon Hunter. The idea behind this deck is to use Fel removal tools such as Fel Barrage, Immolation Aura, or I-Beam in order to deal with your opponent's board that they put down, while also finishing off your opponent in either one of two ways, through a combo between the new hero card and expendable performers, or to finish them off with a well-timed Jace after you have actually used most of your Fel spells within the deck. Either way, you're going to deal a bunch of damage to your opponent's face in one turn, and there's nothing they can do to stop you. So for the Mulligan guide of this deck, much like any other Demon Hunter deck that is actually running Skull of Gul'dan, you should consider keeping Skull of Gul'dan in your opening hand as long as the other two cards to the left of it are easier to play than Skull of Gul'dan, or if it is in the leftmost slot in your hand, as that will allow you to actually discount 3 cards on turn 6 or 5, depending if you have the coin or not. Outside of that, you usually want to keep cards like Illidori's Studies or Sigil in your opening hand, as these will allow you to have a turn 1 play besides just using your hero power. Battle-Worn Vanguard is also a great card to keep in your opening hand, as it lets you put pressure on your opponent on turn 3. And cards like Immolation Aura is really great to keep in your opening hand if you're in a minion-based matchup. Same thing can be said about Fel Barrage, as Fel Barrage will actually allow you to deal with a bunch of minions that might be a little bit tricky otherwise to deal with, such as the Trog that people are still running in some type of decks. A hero card could also be a good card to keep in your opening hand, but I would not keep it in the same opening hand as a Skull of Gul'dan, just because you don't want to have 2 6-cost cards in your opening hand. That's a really bad idea. Otherwise, cards that you don't want to keep in your opening hand that you might think you would be a card like Fury, where you don't really want to play Fury until you can get it to its 2nd rank. And of course, cards like Expendable Performers and Jace are also not great to keep in your opening hand. They just cost too much, and they don't really do anything for you right away. That being said, let's go find some games. Alright, time for a game against Druid. Okay, so this hand isn't the worst, but we're going to mulligan away both Kurtrus and Fury. This is actually a lot better. Drawing into the Fury. I hate when I mulligan away something and then I draw into it instantly. Okay, so their quest line. Well, this should be a little bit interesting. Okay, so that's 1 drop. So we're just going to play it, use hero power, go face. The good thing about questline is we can put enough pressure before they can actually use their questline. We should be able to win the game pretty easily. Lunar Eclipse. Makes me wonder if they're actually Cthulhu questline. I know that's been floating around a bit. I actually kind of want to test that deck out once in the future. Just going to hero power, then pass the turn. Okay, so they're going to give themselves attack. Okay, so that's a good card to have, but we're not going to be able to get that outcast anytime soon. Just going to attack with our 2 minions and with our hero's hero power. Moonlit Guidance. Okay, so they're going to coin something out. I'm assuming a Cthulhu piece. Oh, Ibis. Interesting. That's... Well, I mean, we can instantly kill it pretty easily. So we're just going to do that, then go face again. It's kind of weird that they're actually... Oh, I guess that's one of the cards that they discovered off of Moonlit Guidance. Makes sense that they'd want to play it that turn then. I want to do something with Ibis, I just can't be bothered right now. Okay, we are discounting a Former to 4 and the hero card. That's actually really nice. It means if they can actually get a minion out, then we should have a big turn super early on. All we're missing is a Deadeye, and then we can go infinite with our attack. Well, not infinite, but almost infinite. There's our Deadeye. So we just need to wait until turn 9. Going to use our weapon. Then put a flanking maneuver down and go face. I just realized I've been saying Cthulhu, but I don't actually know if they have Cthulhu, because I can't remember if it's shuffled into their deck at the beginning of the game. Well, oh well, I guess. So they're going to buff up their Panther as much as humanly possible. So they're going to gain 5 armor and then draw a card. Man, they really are buffing that up. Okay, so that it has 9 HP. Let's use one Immolation Aura, use a Fury, use the second Immolation Aura, use a Chaos Leech, then just go face. And now we have a 7/4 from our hero card, which is actually going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be able to complete their questline reward here, probably. Too bad we're not playing Mutanus, I guess. Or Glide. Glide might have been funny in this deck, too. Just going to put down the hero card, and then draw as much as we can here. Okay, Chaos Strike. This is actually really good, especially how we have our hand set up, too. Because we can just use a Jace turn, too. We can do Jace and have Zai in our hand, actually, on the same turn. Okay, there's their second Ibis. That's going to be annoying, but we should be able to deal with it pretty easily. I'm going to play down the Zai, then attack. I should have actually probably saved that, because I think... Oh no, we did 2 Immolation Orders, so it wouldn't even matter in the end. Jury-Rig Carpenter, then they're going to draw their highest card, and then their lowest. Blade Master, interesting. Well, I mean, it kills our Jace, but that's fine. Now we can just play a second Jace, if we really feel like it. But we're going to save it for later, I guess. Because we might actually need it for a Guff turn if we run out of things to actually play. Our hand is looking actually pretty stacked, actually. Okay, so they're going to play Guff. And by a Guff turn, I meant the questline reward and not that version of Guff. So that drew them into nothing, which means they have all the cards in their hand that they might actually need. I'm assuming they're being a little bit wary of what minions they actually put down, just in case. Okay, Fel Barrage. It's pretty good here, actually. We'll put down the second Jace and do a bunch of damage. And kill our Jace too, I guess, but this should be a big push turn here for us. And now they're going to start actually playing their questline reward, which is actually pretty good for us, just because it gives us a big body to actually target. Now, let's show you what a true attack power hero can actually do. And I missed 1 damage there, which is bad, but oh well. Let's see how high of attack damage we can actually get. Behold, 26 damage to face. Alrighty, Rogue it is. Actually kind of shocked to see a non-Maestra disguised Rogue for once. Which means it's probably questline, or Groot, I guess. Poison Rogue also exists. Actually, Rogue has a lot of good decks right now. We're just going to hero power and then go face. Oh hey, they are questline. Okay, Fel Barrage. Not too worried about using that early, because we have Immolation Aura in our hand, and we do kind of want Skull of Gul'dan to be our leftmost card. Okay, so we can't kill that with Immolation Aura. It's gonna go face again. We should be able to kill it next turn with Flanking Maneuver though, which should be pretty good. Kind of a shame that they didn't print any more SI cards for that questline. I get it, they don't want to print too many of them. But it would have been nice to see at least 1 more card. Because unlike the other quest lines, it has a set number of cards that will actually support it, and it'll never get supported past that. And it was one of the weakest quest lines there was anyways, so... Hell, even questline Paladin got some support indirectly. Well, we can just go face and use Immolation Aura here. Though I don't really want to do this, but having Skull of Gul'dan as the leftmost is pretty good. Or we're just going to wait to use Skull of Gul'dan until later. Okay, so they're gonna kill one of our minions. Okay, so that's going to be annoying to deal with. But we do have the Immolation Aura to actually do perfect damage to it, so that should be good. Though we do get the Skull of Gul'dan here, so we might as well just play that. Though that actually helps a lot too. Though we can just go face 2. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so Mr. Smite. Well, that's going to be annoying, but we should be able to deal with it, I think. Oh, they're just going to bounce it back, which is going to be frustrating. Okay, so we need to do as much damage to the board as humanly possible here. Because I do have a plan, just in case. Because if we can use Jace, we can actually kill Smite whenever they play it next. Oh, that's actually a really good top deck. We can get 2 Jaces here at the cost of 5. And 2 Skull of Gul'dans, which isn't necessarily the best thing in the world, but we do have the option of it. Okay, so they're going to bounce back Smite. Now, that's something that I've never thought about doing, is bouncing back Smite with Tengu. That actually doesn't seem bad. It just seems like a worse version of Alexstrasza, but at the same time, if you're already running Smite because you're running some pirates in the deck, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And now we can snipe their Stealth Smite. Behold our fury. The next turn we can just finish them off with a second chase. Sucks for them, though. Just going to use the Immolation Aura, and use the Jace, and then go face. Alright, time for a game against Hunter. Ooh, this hand is not something that I actually like that much. Gonna mulligan away everything besides the I-beam and the sigil, getting a fury, which is even worse. But flanking maneuver actually isn't terrible. Okay, so they're face hunter probably. And that is a perfect top deck for face hunter. Okay, let's see what we get here. Zai, which is actually pretty good for later. And our weapon that we can just use right now. Interesting, the second weapon. Though we don't really want to use our last charge on this one. But we are getting a little bit low. But as long as we don't put too many minions down, they shouldn't be able to do that much face damage to us. So we're just going to pass the turn. Okay, that's actually a pretty good top deck. But it's going to be a while until we can actually use it. And that is why I did not want to play any minions. Well, we do have I-beam to instantly snipe it, which is good. I'm going to use Fury and just go face. Okay, so they're going to do some damage to our face. Just going to use Skull of Gul'dan here just because of the fact that we have no way to actually get it to the leftmost position. Drawing to our hero card here is actually pretty good. Though in this matchup, I don't think that's actually going to come up at all. Though if they do keep buffing up their cards, then it might actually come up. So we can just Immolation Aura and then Flanking Maneuver if we really feel like it. There's the second Rhino. Well, the good news for us is I think we can actually kill it with Jace next turn. Or we can actually use our hero card here. If we use the hero card, we can instantly kill it. Not something I actually want to do, but we can. Sir, let's just draw another card. And then we can kill the ram. Okay, so we should be able to win from this position, I think. Because we can put our weapon down, use this to draw another card, use Immolation Aura, then Fel Barrage, go face for up to 6 damage, and there's no way they can do 6 damage to our face with one card, right? Right? Okay, Chaos Leech. Now, this is going to look like a really awful play. But we're just going to kill it instantly, just in case there was somehow a third Rhino. Then just pass the turn. And now we can play one of our Jaces. And this should heal us for quite a bit too. So we'll be nowhere near lethal range anymore. We're 2 off of lethal. But we do have the second Jace, so it doesn't really matter. Or hero power, depending if they don't give up or not. And they do. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. So when this set first came out, I really was looking forward to Token Demon Hunter because of all the support, and it was one of those decks that I've always loved the idea behind, but it never really did anything. And through early testing, a pure Token Demon Hunter deck just did not hold up. I ended up settling on a weird hybrid between Fel and Token, as this allows you to actually have a bunch of removal tools and a backup plan if you don't get a Kurtrus turn off with your expendable performers, because not everyone runs minions, which is the main issue that Token Demon Hunter actually had. You had no way to actually kill your minions if you were facing, let's say, a mage deck that used no minions, or some other deck that just uses a bunch of low HP minions. But this way you actually have some way to actually win the game outside of just the token combo. So testing this deck was actually incredibly fun. It actually performed incredibly well once I put in more of the fail tools to actually have a backup plan. So across 19 games, I had a 47% win rate with the deck, which is actually pretty good overall. And of the games that I actually did lose, there were quite a few games where it was really frustrating, where they got a perfect top deck or a perfect cannon barrage that actually made me lose the game. But those games felt like they were actually winnable with the deck. I just needed to play a little bit better. Overall, I would say this deck is actually pretty good, and I could easily recommend you playing it if you have the cards within the deck. And who doesn't like doing 28 damage to your opponent's face on one turn with your hero? That being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.